It's brilliant to be at the Expo today, the Rural Business and Energy Show in Telford, and to see the innovation and creativity amongst our farming community in developing new technology, whether it's in anaerobic digestion and producing energy that way, or electric farm vehicles, or the opportunities to have solar farms in our countryside. This is exactly where we need to be. There's a $26 trillion international economic benefit to be had from decarbonising our economy.
As Deputy President of the National Farmers Union, I'm very conscious that farmers feel they have a bit of a triple whammy going on at the moment. We are just on the back of a very difficult weather year with the beast from the east and then a drought. We have political volatility and we have market volatility. And I think one thing's essential to meet that challenge is to invest in our business. I think we need to devise new ways of having renewable energy on our farms. We need to be weatherproofing our farms and we need to be meeting the regulatory challenge of reducing greenhouse gases and strategies such as the Clean Air Act. And I think the event we have today at the Energy and Rural Business Show gives us lots of ideas as to how we can do that. We will need to invest wisely, but we must invest as farmers to make sure we meet those challenges of tomorrow. And I'm delighted to be at this event today to be inspired as to how we can do that.
Yeah, my name's Andy Eastlake and I'm from the Low Carbon Vehicle Partnership. We're based down in London doing a lot of work with developing policy around vehicles. And what we're seeing more and more is that you can't think about a vehicle on its own. You've got to think about the energy that goes into it, and that's partly why it's really exciting to come to this community and see how actually in the rural sector we're joining up low emission vehicles, energy, low carbon energy, and of course the business opportunity as well. So it's that integrated approach that's so critical that actually will be transferable onto the road sector where the bulk of my work is carried out. I think in agriculture we've got a lot of opportunities for some quite interesting innovation in different sectors. We're starting to see some natural winners, if you like, bubbling up to the surface in cars. Electric cars are clearly one of the main thrusts. In trucks we're seeing some really interesting gas-powered trucks. But I think you'll end up with a mixture of those things in the agriculture environment. We've got some big heavy machinery that needs huge amounts of power but might not necessarily be used intensively, and then you've potentially got smaller, longer term consistent energy demands. I think one of the key things that we like to say is that all of the vehicles that we're looking at really and ultimately will be electrically powered, and then it's about how you store the energy on board. Is that in range extender engine running on diesel or gas? Is it in the form of a hydrogen storage and a fuel cell, or is it in the form of a big battery? And then once you've decided how much energy you've got on board the vehicle, how much you need to do the operation, it's then very much about how you deliver that through the grid or the infrastructure. So it's joining up right from cradle to grave where the energy and the vehicles sit in this whole stream of delivering an application.
Because with the agricultural support system changing as we leave the EU, there's going to be quite a lot of changes. I think every landowner is going to have to think, am I going to farm my land productively, and what areas of land are going to yield me a profit? Are there buildings I can use for alternative uses, whether that's holiday accommodation, tourism, storage, or other leisure uses? And then of course you look at the rest of the land that you own. What can you do that's going to be classed as a public good, that's going to earn you an income going forward into the future? So things that people are going to have to think much more carefully about the way they plan their businesses, and also much more responsive to the markets that are out there to make sure that their businesses remain profitable into the future. The Energy and Rural Business Show this year is good because it brings under one roof a huge amount of businesses and experience that people attending can benefit from, both this year and next year. And it's important because it gives you the idea and the knowledge to take your business forward to meet the challenges that we're faced with, not only with Brexit, but also everywhere else as well.
And I wanted to come to the Energy and Rural Business Show today because it was an opportunity to kind of talk to farmers and those people who actually understand about what's going on in their landscape, and also as an opportunity for me to talk about the new regime that might be coming forward. We're called the environment land management system. Okay, so we're moving from the common agricultural policy as we are at the moment and heading towards the environment land management system. And this was a unique opportunity to see a different type of farmer who looks at energy and land management to think how we might go forward.
Well, there's no harm in coming. It's free to come. It's easy to get to. There's lots of other things other than energy projects here. There's other diversification. So, just have a day out, and it's very worthwhile.
Yeah, it's been really interesting. It's been really interesting the way that particularly I've had a particular interest in the woodland management side of things, and also the movements for the offspring from that, so biomass boilers and renewable heat incentive generation. And there's a lot of suppliers that seem to be interested in those processes going forward. So that's been really helpful to have a look at that, and also the keynote speakers as well. So there's been a lot of information that I've been able to glean from seeing the speakers there today as well. So that's been really useful. Yeah, I think it's definitely worthwhile. It's definitely a worthwhile event. I've probably learnt about another 50-60% on top of the elements that I wanted to come down and hear about today. So there's come down and with a focus on what you want to learn about, but also with an overview to learn other elements that you previously didn't think you'd be able to hear about. So it's been really useful.